Your standard normal distribution looks something like this, where the middle of the high point is always your average. They might put X bar, they might put mu. I guess perhaps we should go ahead and put mu. Let's do that. One standard deviation out, mu plus one standard deviation, and mu minus one standard deviation, always contains, or approximately, not exactly, but this is going to be about 68% of all of the data. This is the way the formula will work when you calculate the standard deviation, is it'll be enough above and below the average to contain about 2/3 of the data. Since this is symmetrical, both sides of this have about 34%, because half of 68 is 34. Now, if we go one more standard deviation out, so here over to about here, the next standard deviation out from here to here would be mu minus 2 standard deviations and mu plus 2 standard deviations. This generally holds 95% of the data. But since 68% is already accounted for in here, 95 minus 68 is going to be about 27. Half of that is going to be 13.5. So each of these sections contain about 13.5% of the data. When you go one more standard deviation out, you are now up to containing 99.7% of the data. So we've now added 99.7 minus 95.0 is going to be 4.7. Half of that is 2.35. So each of these portions are going to contain about 2.35% of the data. And if you get all the way out past that, which is very rare, as you can see, we've already accounted between here and here for 99.7% of the data, which only leaves 0.3% left. Half of that is 0.15. So this is going to contain 0.15 of a percent of the data. Now, suppose they want to know how much of, this is basically represented by the area under the curve. The area under the curve is a 1, which is the same as 100%. So this 34 is going to be given as a 0.34. So if they said how much of the area is, let's say, between our average minus 2 standard deviations and our average plus 1 standard deviation. That's going to be between here and here. All we have to do is add up this, this, and this. So it's 13.5 plus 34 plus 34. They're going to want this in decimal form, actually. So that's 68. 68 and 13.5 is going to be 81.5. So depending on how they want the answer, we could either say 81.5% or 0.815. That's how that works.